Today we're going to dive into note-taking and what note-taking is. Note-taking, and I wrote this down in your enrichment book for you, okay? We talked about study skills for the past 2 weeks, but for note-taking, I wrote down in your enrichment book. Note-taking is all about writing down information in an organized manner for the purpose of learning how to do something or learning something new for future use. Okay? But tell me a time that you actually wrote something down on paper to remember how to do something and then you went back and used that information.
When I usually do it when I'm trying to make a Minecraft game.
Oh, so when you're trying to make a Minecraft game, you're actually...
A mod.
So when you're trying to make a Minecraft mod, you actually use pen and paper to write down the steps of how to create those things. Mm-hmm. And then you go back to your pen and, I'm sorry, not your pen, but you go back to your paper and then you use what you wrote down to actually do it. Mm-hmm. That's called note-taking. Did you know that? That's called note-taking. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the different ways that we can take notes. Notes should be clear. It should be organized. It shouldn't really be sloppy. It should be easy for you to go back and read it and figure out what to do. So here's our assignment. We're going to really quick. I want you to go online and you have 1 minute to do this. Okay. I need you to go online. I would like for you to go and find a video where you want to learn how to do something. Maybe how to draw a character, something simple. The video should be like 5 minutes or less, okay? So go find a video about maybe drawing a character or how to play a Pokemon card game or how to level up. Why are you doing that with your face?
Because you said I would play a Pokemon card game. I taught you, and I taught myself, and I taught Mr.
But how did you learn how to do that? You watched videos, right?
Nope. I was just born to play. I already knew.
Okay. But the whole point is find an instructional video. Find a video that teaches you how to do something. And then we're going to do 2 things. We're going to watch the video in its entirety and then write notes. And then we're going to watch the video. And as we're watching the video, we're going to take notes. And I'm going to show you why using one method of note-taking is better than using another note-taking method. Is it better to take notes after something is done, or is it better to take notes as you are listening to something or as you are watching something? So let's go ahead and do that, and then let's come back and do that assignment. So now we watched the video that you selected, okay? Now, look at my notes. I'm going to look at my notes. I'm going to look at your notes. I want you to read your notes, and I'm going to read my notes. And let's see if we remember anything. So this is after we watched the whole video. Then we took notes based on what we remembered. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. So based on what I remembered, I put download the Terraria game, copy and paste the game in your folder, in a new folder on your desktop. Open the folder that you saved the game to on your desktop and copy and paste it to your Terraria app, and it will read the file, and you will know that the file is correct because the mods will be visible in the game itself. Is that right?
Okay, this is...
wait. What?
You put it... You know, it's close.
It's close?
Yeah, you just have to put Terraria
wait.
instead of game.
No. So we watched almost 3 minutes of this how-to video. And I don't think anything I said was
100% accurate.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. You go.
Terraria mod loader. Extract both folders after you download both files. T-mod loader and the mod that you want. Move them to the games folder, back it up, use the mod. It should read it, and you should be able to use the mod, and then you're done.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do, let's rewind the video. We're gonna rewind the video, and now we're going to take notes as we are watching it. Okay? As we're watching it. Here we go. Now that we watched the video and took notes during the video, let's look at the difference between our notes now. Our notes are what? They're longer, right?
No, yours is.
Yeah, mine is.
I like my after one better.
So you like your notes while watching the video. Did it take a little longer for us to do the notes? So in this instance, because it's a video and we have control over the video, right? We can pause it if we need to. If you were watching a lecture, right, and you had control over the tool you were using to watch it, you can stop it, pause it, in order to write notes. If we are doing a lecture live, right, if I'm teaching you live, obviously, you can tell me to repeat myself. You can ask a question.
I can't pause you.
Exactly. And if I say, no, I'm going to keep going, and I choose not to answer your question, you can just write your question to the side of your paper somewhere or on a sticky note or something, and you just keep note taking, and we'll address it at the end. So now, do you want to go first? Do you want me to read mine first, my notes during the video?
I want you to go first.
We need two things, the T-mod loader and the Thorarium mod. If I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, that's fine. Let's keep moving. We're going to download those two things. Then we're going to extract those downloaded files, locate the Terraria folder on our computer drive, back up that Terraria folder by renaming it so we don't get confused by the original Terraria folder. Then we're going to go into the mod section of the Terraria game by clicking the mod folder, locating our Thorarium mod folder in the downloads section of our computer, copy that tmod file to our mod folder, and then we know it will work because when we go back to the game and reopen that mod folder, we're going to see that it actually read that new tmod file that we extracted.
And then you can open the game to make sure it works. If it doesn't, that...
Wait. You go ahead and tell me yours, and then you can say what you're going to say.
No, this isn't even about mine.
Okay, go ahead.
But if it doesn't work, you can just reload the mod.
Oh, I didn't write that part down.
I didn't write it either. So.
Okay, so let's go. But that's a good part because when we write notes, we want to be able to go back to it and reference it in order to do the proper steps. So that's a good step to add at the end. What about all that doesn't work? What should we do? You go back and you reload. Okay.
Especially if you get a new computer.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and what are your notes?
I said download the Tmod loader and the Thorium mod. Extract the Tmod loader and the
Thorarium?
No, Thorium mod. Locate the Terraria folder. Back up the Terraria app. Go to mods and copy Thorium copy the Thorium mod from downloads to the mod.
Excellent job. So let's look at both of our notes. From the notes we took after we watched the video and the notes we took during the video. Which note-taking method do you think works best?
I think
taking notes after.
And I think during is better.
Why?
Because you can pause it and you have 100% control.
But you may not always have 100% control. But the reason why it may be better to write notes while something is happening is because you can write the information as you receive it, and you can easily remember it. So which method are you going to use for note taking?
During.
Yeah, me too, during. Now let's look at your notes. It looks like a paragraph. What can you do to those notes to enhance it? What can you do to the notes
Put dots? Or
right?
Put them like 1, 2.
Oh, I like that. X, let's go ahead and do that. So good idea. You can put dots next to them, or you can put like step 1, step 2, and step 3, however you like it. So let's go ahead and do that to our notes that we wrote during the video. Let's go ahead and do exactly what you said. Let's go ahead and enhance our notes to make it easier to understand.
2.
Because when you go back, you're going to look at these notes and you're going to say, oh, this is a big paragraph. but it's easier to look at information if it's in steps. So you have how many steps?
4.
So you have 4 steps to do what? That teaches you how to do what?
Download tutorial mod.
Or no, what was the whole purpose of this?
So just download.
How to install.
A mod.
Very good. Excellent job. Any questions on note taking?
Nope.
Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to practice this over and over and over again. We're going to practice this through videos that you're going to select for things you're interested in, and you're going to practice it while I am teaching. You're going to take notes while I'm teaching, and you're going to practice it when you're watching your math videos. Okay, let's go. So last week, we talked about study skills. What are study skills?
Study skills are to preview, attend.
No, not the steps we talked about. In general, in your own words.
Oh.
What's the purpose of What's the purpose of studying?
The purpose of studying is
to recall
and to
recall
remember.
Remember. So to recall information and to remember information that you need to know for future use. Didn't we just also kind of talk about that during
because
note-taking skills?
Yeah, because now we don't have to go back and find the same exact video.
Exactly. So note-taking and studying skills work together. Excellent. So if you take good notes, it's going to be easier to do what? Recall things. And that's called studying. Excellent. So let's talk about the steps that we discussed these past 2 weeks about how to study. We said that there was something called a study cycle, and we talked about the different steps to the study cycle, how to study: preview, attend, review, study, and assess. So let's talk about each one quickly. Tell me, what is preview?
To read the board and figure out what we're going to be doing and look at them on your and review them. And preview them on your on your notes and notebooks.
Okay, so we learned that preview means to just take a quick glance, take a quick look at what we're learning for the week, right? So the way that you're going to preview is by looking at the board every week, right? Sunday after we're done with homeschool, I put on the board what we are going to learn for the following week. So you preview, glance over the board to see all the topics that you are going to learn or what we're going to talk about, right? And then you utilize your notebooking or your resources and lab books, very good, in order to take a quick peek at those things, okay? What's the next thing we do? Attend. What is attend? Very good. Attending is actually going to class, showing up, and taking notes, right?
Yep.
Excellent. What is review? What do we talk about in terms of review?
To go back and check the notes.
But when are we going to do that? What did we say?
On the same day as class.
So the same day as class. So after you're done with homeschool, you're going to go back to your notes, or after each course. So after I teach math, when you take your break, you go and you can review before we start the next course, right? And what are you reviewing?
My notes.
The notes that you took in class, or the notes that you took during the lecture, or the notes that you took when you watched the video, whatever it may be, right? But why are we looking at our notes? What are we trying to do?
Remember things.
Yes, but why are we looking at our notes the same day?
To make certain things make sense for the next day.
Oh, very good. So we are reviewing our notes during that same day to make sure the notes are accurate, the notes make sense, to make sure the spelling is right, to make sure we understand what we wrote and it's clear and it's legible and easy to read. Awesome. What's next? So after we review that, then we study. And
10 to 15 study sessions a day.
3 to 10, 15 study sessions? No, you're not saying that right.
Three 10 to 15 study sessions.
You're not saying it right. So let me help you here. So for studying, we said set time aside, right, in order to study or intensely review the information that you have gathered, right?
Like I did.
And right, exactly. So we're going to do that by taking or choosing a day of the week. You chose Wednesdays. A time, you said 3:30 to 4:30, right? And we said instead of studying for one whole hour, no, we don't want you to do that. We're going to break that hour into 3 increments. And each of those increments will be 15 minutes. So that's what you mean. We're going to have 3 15-minute increments on our study day to focus on the notes that we took. Is that right? Oh, excellent. So you want to show me how you studied. Excellent. So on your study day, this past Wednesday, your study session day, you studied math. You took about 15 or 30 minutes to do math. And in order for you to assess, which is step 5, assess in our study cycle, in order to assess whether or not you comprehended what you were studying, you actually wrote down some examples. And you redid some examples just to ensure that the information you read about or studied about actually made sense and you were able to fully understand it and teach it back to me if I asked you to do it. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Excellent. Very good. And you are absolutely right. That's what we talked about during the last 2 weeks when we spoke about what is studying, what are good study habits, what is the study cycle, right? Mm-hmm. And then we created an action plan. And the action plan we created is what we talked about. You said, these are the things I commit myself to do to ensure that I am actively learning and I'm actively recalling information. Do we need to study everything? No, we only need to study the core subjects, especially if we're going to have a review that's coming up of some sort. No, we don't do tests. In order to ensure understanding. Do you remember something else we talked about during the whole how we properly study? We talked about in studying, there are ways that you can actually study. Do you remember any of those ways that we talked about? Let me help you.
Summarize.
Very good. We can summarize information in your own words. You can visualize you can storytell. We can talk about it. Do you remember what mnemonic devices are? Trust me, you remember. We do this the most in our homeschool when we're trying to remember facts or remember information.
Go online?
No. I would like for you to tell me, what is a preposition?
Oh.
What is it?
I'm using things
No.
to remember.
But what is a preposition?
Preposition. Tell me a position.
No. Preposition. It's your mission to tell me exactly your position. Be on my couch. Okay, stop. So the whole point is we just use
a catchy phrase,
right,
or a song or something to help you remember.
Remember. Excellent. So catchy phrase, a song, an acronym, lyrics, music, body movements, dance, right? Things that help you remember the information you're studying. Okay. Any questions for me on study skills or note-taking skills, Jeremiah? No. Excellent. So again, like I said, note-taking, we'll go back and we're going to spend the next 2 weeks and we're going to actually do it together, take notes together. I'm going to take notes. You're going to take notes. We're going to compare it and talk about it. And then after that, we're going to talk about a specific method called the Cornell method that I would like for you to use for the rest of the year when note-taking. But we're going to do it together, okay? And we're going to take our time with it. And it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. But over time, you'll get better and better at it. Any questions? All right, great.